yo. It's your boys. Not crime time, but what up? It's early. It's about 7-Eleven. Great time for us. Was it Slurpee, right? The Slurpees are 7-Eleven. It's all right. There's not a lot of 7-Elevens down here in the South. So we go with the slushies at QT. But
Oh my God. You don't have that's probably the worst.
Hold on. No, them slushies be hitting now.
Now,
don't get that mess
have
twisted.
you had one from Sheets yet?
No, we don't really have that down here, man.
Oh my God! See, you need a Sheets. Y'all don't have Sheets. Y'all don't have Royal Farms.
No.
I know you miss Royal Farms. I know that.
Well, I mean, that has some good chicken.
But Sheets got a slushie that'll put almost anybody's slushie to shame.
I need a slushie place, gas station, wherever that allows you to put the marshmallow. Remember how the ice cream truck used to come and you know what I'm saying, let you get it hooked up. I mean, shout out to Yogurt Mountain if you have never been to a Yogurt Mountain, because they let you put all the fixings on it, even at the Heath topping. But yeah, man. Well, it was 7-Eleven, so I guess that whole segue into it is kind of mute now. It's 7:12, so at 7:12 we are here for Saturday night's main events special early show. I apologize in advance to one of our loyal watchers, Sam. My bad. We ain't having it after Saturday night's main event. We came early. That's what she said. So we are here to talk about the goodness of Saturday night's main event that's airing tonight on NBC and Peacock. And then we're going to touch on a couple other subjects, and then we out so we can enjoy Saturday night's main event. Also with that, hey, guess what? It's Memorial Day. So I'm remembering to wish you a happy Memorial weekend and all the other stuff that's going on. Be safe on your cookouts. Don't be trying to burn too much stuff up. Have fun with your families. Nubian Sumo's out there with his family. He decided to go back to Jurassic Park because he's old. So, he's got to go out there and, reminisce on all the cave drawings and stuff like that. But Sumo, we wish you the best. We'll see you when you get back from the rock and the mountain that you came from. I think somewhere in Arizona or something like that. I don't know. He's just old. KG.
I ain't even got nothing to say because here's the thing. When Sumo comes back, we got to do That's Just Nubian, because it's too much that went on in the independent world that we have not seen on mainstream TV that Sumo gotta break down. Gotta.
Yep. And New Japan and all that stuff. So he's got a job to do. So we will put him to work for your viewing pleasure once he gets back. But until then, airing tonight, shameless plug. We don't get paid for it, but at least we put them over. Maybe they won't ban the show. I guarantee you they will pretty soon when we start putting content up. Watch Saturday night's main event. Great throwback. We know we got Lillian. Hopefully we got Jesse the Body Ventura once again. It's going to be a great show on NBC and Peacock. So make sure you check that out. And KG, here's the match card. You can see it right here up on the screen. We got some bangers tonight. I think this is probably the best Saturday night's main event that they've had. And I guess it's only the third of the modern era, but this is a banger.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know what I'm looking forward to?
Selena Vega versus Chelsea Green rematch for the women's. No, that's not it.
Well, I mean, I'm not even going knock off that, but that sounds good. But I'm looking forward to Cena versus his most loyal and biggest fan, R-Truth, because I want to see which R-Truth comes out. Are we going to get Ron the Truth Killings? Are we going to get K Quick? We going to get R-Truth? Like, I want to see who comes out. And this right here, with Cena on this heel run, this right here, you can build up something with R-Truth. And a lot of people say, why you want to build up something with R-Truth? He's almost 60. He's still a draw. People still love him. His social media presence and what he does for the community. Yeah, this would be good. This would be a good, and this is not for the title, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get it twisted. This is not for the title. But I will say this. Truth wins this tonight. Cena got to put him over. but he got to be a thorn in Cena's side for the rest of the time that Cena's there, because I think they work really well together too. But that's just my opinion.
I'm with you on that. I just want people to put some respect on R-Truth's name. Cena's only at 17 championships. Truth is what, 69 time, 75 time,
Yep.
334 time champion, 24/7 champion. So I mean, you know, R-Truth technically is the more decorated person in that ring, but unfortunately, Truth is might as well wrestle Little Jimmy because he ain't gonna see John. Pun intended. I know, low hanging fruit. John Cena will probably yell at me about that. But one we do want to see what's going to come out of this is our boy Yeet, Jey Uso, versus Logan Paul. That's going to be a hard-hitting, crazy match, I hope.
I'll say this. This is for the title, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
If they find a way to put Jake Paul in the driver's seat and give him this title tonight, I'll have to shake my head at WWE. I won't make the bold claim and say, I'll never watch another event. No. Because they burnt me like that before and I still come back for more. But if they find a way to put the title on Logan Paul right now, it's bad for business. So,
yeah,
Jey
I don't
Uso
think
retains.
tonight would be the night, but I think it could be coming, and it would make sense for, you know, that championship reign to transition over to give Jay something to come back to, huh?
Makes sense to who?
To me. Hey, you don't have to like him as a person or anything else, but as a character heel, he's doing a pretty daggone good job. And I know it's going to be a bad comparison, but if Baron Corbin had the social media following that Logan Paul does, Baron Corbin would have been champion multiple times over. That's really the only difference between the two. He's at that level of, you know, heat, or almost there as Baron Corbin. The only thing is, you know, when Baron Corbin was out there, you know, he stayed in kayfabe. He protected the character. You know, I've seen interviews with Logan Paul, and it's like, well, you know, he's talking about it as a business, and he's doing his podcast and having, you know, behind the curtain conversations. So I can't call him a heel's heel to an extent, but I think with the championship, he may transition into that. Why not?
It's funny you say that about Baron Corbin, because we sat here on this very show week in and week out, and I told you how much I could not stand Baron Corbin, but I loved him because I was not supposed to like him being a heel.
Yep.
And I was like, he was doing his job, and you told me that's what it's supposed to be. That's what the business is about. If you're a heel and the babyface lovers don't like you, you're doing an excellent job. And I thought that Baron Corbin had lightning in a bottle, and he put the top on it. He stored it because he had that run for quite some time. And then they tried to change him up, and I was like, that's where it all got messed up. And I believe VKM came in and changed a lot of things because he took over creative on a lot of shows during the pandemic, and it messed up a lot of runs.
Agreed. But let's talk about, speaking of VKM, there's a lot of residual still in the back pocket on this tag team match. Sami Zayn and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Excuse me. Who would you put over on this one?
You can go ahead and give me Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins on this one, just because Braun Breaker is just he's the for those of us that like those of you that like to play spades, he's the big joker. That's what he is. He's the big joker. He trumps it all. You know, he's got something good. But man, that's your catalyst in this match.
I'm gonna give it to you like this. I agree with you, and the reason why I agree with you is because of Sami Zayn. And this daggone render picture, Sami is cheesing hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just, you know, Bloodline 2.0 is coming back, or 3.0, and he's in there. Like that super cheese right there that he got, that smiling face. Like, yeah, you can't win that. CM Punk with the little bit of a grin. Yeah. Sammy. No, man, we'll need to see the pearly whites like that. So that's why I think I agree with you. Braun Breaker and Seth, we give this to them to build a story. There'll be something else coming down the pike. Maybe we have another Heyman person show up. Stranger things can happen. Why not? Just make it interesting. So the last match of the night to touch on for Saturday night's main event is going to be a cage match. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. Who you got?
Number one, write it down, take a picture, book it. This will be match of the night. Drew McIntyre wins, but it's gonna be a match it's gonna be a curtain sellout. Put it that way. And for those that don't understand what that means in the business, that means everybody in the back is at the curtain watching this match. They're up right outside of Gorilla, and they're watching this match because that's gonna be a curtain sellout. I just got a funny feeling about it, and I've never seen two equally matched people go at it in a cage match on a Saturday night's main event. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Now, my question is, are they going to be daring enough to give us the OG cage? Could they bring in the big old blue special?
Ooh.
Can you imagine if they brought that thing back for Saturday night's main event? Woo, that'd be a serious cage match right there.
Now that would be
nothing
good.
Against the chain link, but the big square, the big blue square cage. Yeah, that was something to behold, especially on a house show when you had a cage match and you watch them put that thing together in about 3 to 4 minutes. Like, man, they're about to put this out of nowhere. Putting it in the slots, locking the pins in, match starts. Like, holy heck. That was the good old days right there where they could do stuff like that and transition instead of it coming from the heavens.
But when seeing that cage come down like that, I remember seeing that for the first time, and I thought that was like probably the most greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Seeing the cage already put together, but remember the cage they had that was flat, and when it came down, the sides and everything came down with it and and they would lock it into place.
Oh yeah, that was dope. That was dope. The only thing that topped that is when the Elimination Chamber, you just watch that come down. Like, that's a big old structure just to drop down out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So just watching that thing come down is like, oh, it's about to be game time. The EC's dropping. We're about to get there. So now, again, we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say to give some love to WCW proper, old school WCW. What's that? 3 stages of hell?
Oh God, yeah.
I've never seen a structure like that where you start off in the big cage, you work your way up to the next one. It's a smaller cage, you work your way up to the top, and it's an even smaller cage, and then the belt's waiting for you at the top. 3 stages of hell. That's something you need to bring back. You want to go old school? Bring that back and show me that.
Yeah,
give me that.
They can make that a Wyatt 6 match. Shout out to Jimmy King. I will rule you. For those that know, But again, just to make sure that we don't get in too much trouble. First of all, shout out to Wrestle Ops for the graphic, and then Saturday night's main event. Make sure you check it out on NBC Universal, or you can watch it on Peacock tonight at 8 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, and whatever other time zone you're in, that equates to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you check that out. So KG, we got a couple other things going on that I know you wanted to touch on. One of them, I guess we might as well go there because I was trying to avoid it. It's going to be kind of emotional, but we got to go there. Bray Wyatt, birthday. Man.
Yeah.
Still hard to believe that Bray's not with us anymore. Wyndham Rotunda. Did you see the video of his son Nash coming out and just wanted to be his dad for his birthday? It's like, man.
And what's crazy is Wyatt 6. What's crazy is how his uncle, Bo Dallas, Drop
Nash's
what he
uncle,
was
that
doing
is.
to get it done.
So apologize. Thank you, WWE, for this clip off of your social media, your X account. We'll probably get in some serious trouble for this, but just wanted to give a shout out and a true respect to Bray with the Y6 coming back on his birthday. So that was just really good to see. You know, Bray Wyatt's, his impact to the business is just everywhere still. And man, gone too soon. Literally. Same thing with Eddie Guerrero. Gone too soon.
And everybody always asks, what's that one death? It's not one that really gets them. It's quite a few. And one was Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
One was
Bray
Eddie,
Owen Hart. You know, that's Shad Gaspard. That's folks that, you lose. It's just like, shoot, Mr. Perfect. It's just like, man, you just see them on TV. They're larger than life, but then life reminds you that that clock is always ticking. So what do you do with that time? How do you spend time with your loved ones? Do you make the memories and make the most out of it? When your time is called, what do people say about you when you're gone? And the fact that, the WWE has continued with, the Wyatt Six, there's so much that's going on. So,
and
man,
did you know that did you see the part where they blew the candle out at the end of the night? They had the birthday cake and they blew the candle out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, just looking at it, watching the video back again, you can't complain. You can't argue. I mean, it's just like, finally. But the piece of the puzzle that I want, and we'll see how long it takes them to get there, is Alexa Bliss. That's the piece of the puzzle that I think they need, just to give them some extra depth. But look at that. Gacy with the slam there. You got Bo Dallas. I'm sorry, Uncle Howdy. With the mandible claw. There's just so much going on and so much awesome. We were wondering about 2 weeks ago, silently, what the storyline and the plans of the creative was. And then, here we have them once again back on SmackDown, just dominating and decimating as they should, as Bray intended. And there it is. The kiss, the Abigail, done. And who better to take that? Did you see the way Gargano sold that? I mean, shout out to Johnny. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Come on now. That's old school NXT right there. That's extra. Look at that. We'll do it one more time. That's extra throwback. Wow. Come on now. That was everybody doing their part to, pay tribute and celebrate the life and the future of creative, thanks to Bray Wyatt. So happy birthday. Thank you for the memories and everything that's to come. And, big shout out to Triple H for, keeping us going and giving them the vehicle to be able to, just make that dream a reality. So it's pretty awesome to see. You crying over there?
No. I'm keeping it together.
You sure?
I'm keeping it together.
Is it anywhere as remotely together as Mania Gate? Because Lord knows, Mania
what
Gate.
Is Mania Gate?
Mania Gate is, hey, New Orleans, you get WrestleMania. We accept your bid. And then, hey, New Orleans, you ain't getting this, right? Las Vegas paid us so much money that we're going to make some changes. Never happened before that I know of, and this is where Sumo can come in and check, that after being announced, a WrestleMania location has been changed, not due to any weather or natural disasters, due to money. Period. Dot. Money. So WrestleMania next year is looking like it's going to be going back to Vegas which also opens up the door, since we're making these unprecedented moves, that money will dictate things. It could end up overseas in Saudi Arabia sooner than later.
People's choice, Don Rodriguez. Let me explain something to you in the truest, most sincere form that I can explain it.
Break it down.
If you think WrestleMania is ever hosted anywhere outside of the continental United States, for those that are uninitiated and not aquatic enough, the 48 states that are all touching each other and connected, barring Alaska and Hawaii, I think a pay-per-view in Hawaii will be great. A Saturday night main event in Hawaii would be great because of the great tradition of wrestling down in Hawaii. That would be great. But a WrestleMania has to be held in a New York, a DC, a Chicago, a Miami, a Dallas,
Atlanta.
Name a city in California, Atlanta. You know, you have your major cities that you hold. Detroit, hell, Ohio. You got places that you can hold. And if you really want to pay homage to the wrestling territories, you go to the Midwest and the middle states of Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas City, Missouri. You know, you go to these places, but having a WrestleMania outside of the borders of the United States of America is a slap in the face to us as wrestling fans, and it's also blasphemy. We already do pay-per-views and everything like that all around the world, whether it's WWE, AEW, whoever. But when you have the granddaddy of them all, the grandest spectacle, the greatest stage ever set, and you have that outside of the country, yeah, I got a problem with that. And it's not because this is an American thing. It's not about being American. It's what it is. I would love to get the fans from around the country the ability to fly in and attend WrestleMania here, so you can see how we do it here. Because when we do pay-per-views and premium live events in other countries, that's cool. You can do any other pay-per-view there. In any other country you want to put in, Saudi Arabia, okay, we do that. You do Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia every year, great. But WrestleMania stays home. Like Ike Turner said, the name stays home. My daddy blood on that name.
I can't believe you brought Ike into this. Get in the
Of
car,
course
team.
I'm gonna bring Ike into it.
Anime, get in the car.
Oh God, that's nasty.
That is what she said.
That's supposed to be a root beer. That's seltzer water. Ugh.
No, God, that's the worst. But for those that are like, well, why is it a big deal? Think about the normally they talk about the impact to the city that WrestleMania has. And they've gone, you know, traditionally to other, you know, the many cities, the 40 cities that they've been to. And, you know, it's just so much revenue that's generated for that area. You know, it's life-changing for a lot of mom and pop shops. You know, it saved hotels, you know, cabs, Ubers. Everybody's making money. So you think, well, Las Vegas makes plenty of money on its own. But think about this. Every hotel, for the most part, was sold out during WrestleMania week. Not weekend, not for an NFL game, the week. The Raws, the SmackDowns, the NXTs, the roast, the Dead Man, Undertaker one-man show, the convention center, you know, all of that's happening for a week. There was more revenue that was generated in Las Vegas than a Tyson fight, than the UFC, anything. Everybody ate off that plate. The airlines, everybody. And a lot of people went home extra broke from the casinos, the restaurants. Everybody ate off of that plate at such a high level Think about the old mob movies like Goodfellas and stuff like that. All these hotel heads got together and said, yo, we're going to have to pool our money together to call over the TKO and say, we're going to do this undisclosed, and I'm quite sure it begins with a B for billions worth of dollars that we will pay you to come back to here to Las Vegas next year. Not in 2 years, 3 years. We need that money again. So, you know, the cultural impact of wrestling, sports entertainment, you know, the WWE more specifically is so high and it's so powerful. You know, Netflix is just giddy as a schoolgirl, just with the fact that, hold up, something that we have on here is just able to move Vegas to make a concerted effort to spend collective money to have this spectacle come back 12 months later. The hell with it, the hell with New Orleans. Hell with them. You need to come back here.
Here's a question. What made them do an about face away from New Orleans? I mean, it's got to be something going on.
No, you cut that check big enough. Oh, I'm gonna turn.
I don't.
Like I said, it had to be in the B's. 1, 2, 3 billion. Think about how many hotels. Just the hotel industry, the convention center.
Here's a misconception, and you know this because you spent time in Vegas. Outside of the Strip, even though there's places outside of the Strip that's beautiful, but outside of the Strip, there's not much to do in Vegas.
I bet the timeshare places made money. You know, everybody, any way you could be there.
Airbnb.
Even if you were a clear production, you were there. This made me giggle. But everybody was there. And that's just good fun, you know, just illustrate. But everybody was there. That's a lot of money. I've never seen Las Vegas have pull like that.
But you know what? If they want to go Las Vegas, you know what you could do? You could turn around and New York could offer a bigger check than Vegas.
No. This is one step below the Saudi Arabia connection. Like I said, it's never been at this level because, you know, it's one thing for the city to give tax breaks and stuff like that. The city to come up with money, you know, or the state, you know, even if we take it to that level. California can afford some stuff. But, you know, California's just too big. New York can afford, but do they want to cut that big enough check? And what can they offer outside of MSG and you know, Broadway and stuff like that? I mean, they have some stuff.
New York can offer. Well, I mean, we talking for a WrestleMania. We're not talking for any other event. We talking
WrestleMania week.
Well, you also got the Barclays.
Yeah.
And you have MSG.
Right.
If you really want to get into it,
and go to Jersey.
Perrier Dome in Syracuse. And I think hold on. Let me do this.
You're talking about venues.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm talking about hotels.
I'm talking about
also offer something in the hotel. Restaurants.
JMA Wireless Dome is what it's called now.
That are at a higher level. There's too many components of revenue generation for them to ignore how much money was just brought in. Too much.
Okay. Now,
so
hold on. I'm gonna take you one further.
Go ahead.
Go to California. You can go to LA. You got options in LA. You know what you can use in LA? You know what you can use though? As far as venue and hotels, everything, every accommodation you can think of, you can use the Coliseum. The Coliseum alone seats 110,000 just in the seats. Now you put the ring in the middle, and then you have the seats lined up.
That's maybe another 60,000.
We talking close to 200,000 for an outdoor event. We talking what they said they
could be done.
did at the Pontiac Silverdome. That really wasn't the case.
I said Cali could do
Come
it
on now,
because it's California. It could be done. You know,
right?
I would do a full takeover of a movie studio. You know, I would do a lot. There's a lot that could be done that they haven't done yet outside of the parking lot situation with Goldust and Roddy Piper and the White Bronco. But for a
Don't say it too loud.
concentrated, 12 block experience, nobody could top Vegas. Every hotel, plus the new ones that they did from the Mandalay Bay all the way down to Old Vegas, where the sign is, the timeshares, like I said, the casinos. You know, everybody ate. I can guarantee you, the wheel has never been the Ferris wheel. The world's largest Ferris wheel has never been so busy in its lifetime. Everybody ate. Even the little mom and pop shops on the strip, Subway, everybody got a piece of that pie. So if you have all of that, the food and beverage industry, plus the casinos, plus the hotels, plus the airlines, plus the airport, plus the timeshare people, there's so much. If they all came together, normally it'd be independent because there's an event that just happens and works for this group or that group. But if everybody came together to contribute towards this and say, hey, we need this now, man, that's something. To where they're talking about annualizing it and maybe, like two WrestleManias back to back and then somewhere else, or maybe 4 years, 5 years back to back to back. Who knows? But it's a big deal. The question is, what does Vince think? And then the second thing is WWE's got a problem, KG.
What's the problem?
The problem is, how do they maintain the steam of all these top people? Talk about that. What's your thoughts on that?
Explain that to me. I'm at a loss of what you mean. Maintain the steam. When you talk about the top performers,
I'm talking about think about it. Last year they had one heck of a great lineup for the show. They got to maintain that.
Okay.
What can they do next year?
Well, you know what you do? You take and you go. You got to have some. One thing you can't do. This is what you can't do. You can't trot out that POS Hulk Hogan. Can't trot him out. But you put together a card, but you have live music like you used to. So you got Randy Orton coming down with Rev Theory playing voices on the stage. You got somebody special bringing Bianca Belair down. Hell, you got Kendrick Lamar performing a concert. It's ways to do it. It's ways to do it. But are you willing to spend that bread?
Yeah, that's the key.
Now, how would you do it? Because maybe I didn't answer that in the essence that you wanted me to, but how would you do it?
I think next year they've got to go and throw some nostalgia in. Goldberg. You got to shake it up. Brock. You got to. The Rock is going to have to perform because there's too much talk about how he missed, and the point of him being part of what's going on this year was pointless. So The Rock, I think they need to throw some OG star power in, and then because we're talking 2 nights. This year was pretty much the roster, which is fine. No issues there. We've talked about how that needed to be, But I think we need some like, do we have Trish Stratus? Did Trish wrestle this year?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that was this year. It was something that Trish wrestled this year. She had a tag match. She had a tag match on night one.
Yeah. So, maybe get Mickie James, Victoria, something. I'm not talking gimmick battle royals or anything like that. I'm talking about a good match. They could incorporate TNA a little bit more. I know we had the nice spot with Joe Hendry, but we could do that. They got AAA that they can leverage. So it's got to be, they got to jazz it up and alternate what's happening so it doesn't become stale. If they could do that at a high level, then they can make it and they can maintain it so it just doesn't, fizzle out. And then, Vegas is like, hey, you're not doing it for us anymore. And KG, they need to figure out how to use the Sphere. I don't know what or how, if it's NXT in the Sphere or if it's SmackDown. Well, probably NXT because NXT is more of a closer knit thing. Or the Hall of Fame is in the Sphere. But they need to utilize the Sphere.
To your point, NXT, you say go old school. Well, it's not really old school, but let's take it back a little bit. NXT got to do a takeover.
A true takeover, yep.
A true takeover that weekend.
With some OG NXT people in it. Bayley, Charlotte, Seth Rollins. Who else do they have that's OG NXT? From Rhea Ripley, Io, Shayna Baszler.
Well, you got to bring her back first.
Shayna, they didn't let Shayna go. Yeah, they did. That's right. Yeah,
she's a part of that. Them cuts.
Her socials get me every time. Another Monday, another stew. Shout out to Shayna Baszler. But yeah, if they can do that, that'd be pretty awesome. But I agree, it's got to be jazzed up.
You know what else you could throw in there?
What's that?
Don't forget, outside of WWE, you got GCW that also performs on WrestleMania weekend. You get all of, but see, this is the thing. This is on the same lines of what I've been saying for 6 years now.
What? They just stole a name, so you can't use the name.
My whole idea was all worlds collide, where you got everybody in the same city on the same card. But since you're not going to be like that, okay, Friday night, we're going to leave that to GCW. GCW, everybody, that way everybody can go. And then you have kind of like an invasion angle with everybody there. You have TNA, you have AEW, you have everybody there, and you kind of do an invasion angle to push. I ain't gonna say lift up because GCW is pretty goddamn big, but to push GCW more and say, hey, we're behind this too.
You know what?
We support this too.
Why don't they have a show during the convention center, during the WWE world? Not just the special appearances, but you can have some folks from different promotions perform at the WWE world. So you're talking about Friday. Okay, well, Friday SmackDown. So let's say Thursday. World is open. You've got, a full card, about 2 hour show, no seats, standing room only, because, it's a convention center and all that. But have some matches. Have some GCW folks, TNA folks, AAA, WWE, LFG people, Evolve folks, and then some top talent. You can do a bunch of tag matches and stuff like that, but just have some fun. Get back to the people in that aspect since, the other thing is, are they going to continue to price themselves into exclusivity for these tickets? Because now, and again, I've said it before, I may have a bunch of, pollinators coming at me, but I blame Beyonce. I'm just saying. All these, Cowboy Carter tickets and all this other stuff that's just like, oh, I'm just going to get kicked out my house. But I went to see Bay. That's what started it. Once they saw that, hey, she can do it, oh, we can do it too. Next is the NBA. Like, oh man, I'm sitting in nosebleeds, $300. My team ain't even
Mm-hmm.
with it. $300 for the Wizards.
What's crazy is I remember it was one point in time. It was a retro night at the Capital One Arena here in DC, and tickets were $9. They said they were going to take the ticket prices back to 1978, and tickets were $9. Now, man, just 20 some odd years ago, but it was the upper ring, but those $9,
Sold
everybody
out.
bought them up. I went in there and was trying to get 2 tickets. They was like, all right, we down to 1. Let me get up. They sold out. It sold out that fast.
Yep. See, people don't
But
understand
now,
how difficult it was, calling Ticketmaster to buy tickets over the phone back in the day.
my God.
Come on now. Appreciate what we got. God dang. Shoot. Appreciate the scalpers at that point. Like, God dang. Trying to navigate Ticketmaster. I had to flirt with the lady at the Baltimore Arena that would always sell the tickets. Like, hard, KG. Hard. But I tell you 2 things that came out of that. One, she always let me pick my seats. She showed me what's available. Here's the map. And then, all right, I went right there. Always camera side. Always good to go. And 2, because of that, I was able to sneak around back and get the autograph from Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Bret the Hitman Hart. And I can say it now because I won't get beat. Steal a rose off of the Undertaker's coffin when he was having a casket match with Yokozuna. All in the same night. That was a hell of a good night.
You still have the autograph, and did you press the rose in the photo album?
No. It's in a backpack. It was so bad, I didn't even have a pen. Like, I snuck around. I was just back there. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And then there happened to be, and that's how I knew it was divine intervention, a family, a dad and his 2 sons that were back there. I don't know how they got back there, but they had a legitimate reason. And then somebody knocked on the door, and that's when Diesel and Bret came out to sign their autographs. I didn't even have nothing to sign. I just grabbed a piece of cardboard. They had the marker. Kevin Nash signed the Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And then I asked Bret, I said, hey, can you sign it to Sharpshooter? He looked at me crazy. He was like, okay. Bret the Hitman Hart, Sharpshooter. Man. Woo! That made my night that night, boy. I can tell you that. Can I tell you that?
Just hearing it, man.
Never be able to do that again, though, because that security was increased the next house show. I can tell you that much.
They increased security because of you.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, not going to say anything in particular, but they were probably wondering how this, melanin infused, maybe 18-year-old is back here with these non-melanin infused folks that are legitimately supposed to be back there. So, yeah. I made sure I got back to my seat rather quickly so that way they wouldn't kick me out before the main event. But that was all during intermission. Man, that was the good old days right there. Good old days. But speaking of good old days, Saturday night's main event tonight in about 6 minutes for those that are watching us live. So we're going to start transitioning our way over to be able to sit down and enjoy Saturday night's main event. I'm looking forward to it, KG.
Well, you should be. You should be. I think it's going to be pretty goddamn good. Hopefully we get Jesse Ventura, and I said this before. I'm always upset with Jesse Ventura because he told me in 2008 we was gonna have a wrestler in the White House. Now he
Technically
did.
You do.
Technically you do, but I was expecting him, not Agent Orange that we got now. So I wanted Jesse, the Mind Ventura, because he was all about people. So
yeah. Well, the U word, the unions, they weren't gonna let him in. Not that the unions wouldn't, but the fact that he was trying to unionize, he was good as a governor, but I don't know if they will let him get all the way to the keys to the kingdom. It'd have been cool though. But who knows? We could go from Agent Orange, as you like to call him, to Paul Heyman. Can you imagine the State of the Union address as we get ready to wrap up here? Ladies and gentlemen, my name
is Paul Heyman.
Like, as the United States of America is negotiating with Russia about the island of relevancy, you would just go into it. Then Brock Lesnar shows up, and then it all goes to crap right there.
Somebody, look, some foreign leader, look, sign the treaty. I'm not signing the treaty. Dead.
Yeah. Like, I am the advocate. Like, oh man, that'd be awesome. I don't know. But then again, who knows? Maybe VKM will probably want to go ahead and run.
Well, two things. Since you mentioned VKM, and then I got one last thing to say before we go. Word on the street is he might buy TKO out of WWE. That's word on the street. That's a rumor I heard. Put it in your pocket. Put it under your hat. Just watch out. See what's going on. Second thing, yesterday also marked 26 years since we lost Owen Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about Bray Wyatt at the top of the show and talking about Owen Hart, something that probably could have been prevented. And I remember they said, oh, Owen's thinking about retiring. And I always say Owen would have came out of retirement in about 2.5 years, because the likes of Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and
the Radicals.
Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. Yeah, and Benoit. And then you also had Chris Jericho coming over. And Chris Jericho
as a separate group,
right. So you would have had all that, and that would have reignited his passion, because he didn't like the Attitude Era. It wasn't his thing. It wasn't his scene. But having those super technical wrestlers that, the Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds, Chris Benoit, who trained in the dungeon,
mm-hmm.
Jericho, who was such a big owner. He trained in the dungeon too?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. I never knew that. I knew he was from Canada, but
yeah, man, a lot of people pass through.
He was a huge Owen Hart fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then Eddie Guerrero, and if I'm not mistaken, Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero had a match in Japan that was really, really good, if I'm not mistaken. They were both under mask though. Because Eddie Guerrero was Tiger Mask.
Yep.
So I think they had a match in Japan as well. But to have those guys come over, it would have reinvigorated him to keep going. So
yeah, and we talked about it before. The ripple from that unfortunate incident affected more than just the wrestling world. Brett would still be wrestling.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, had that not have happened. Period. He may have just went back to WWE. Like that. There's so much, that unfortunate situation changed. But we've learned, and if it wasn't, we've had other situations. Sting has been able to come from the rafters multiple times. Josh Daggone Darby Allin was able to come down from the rafters and also climb Mount Everest. So congrats to Darby Allin for planting an AEW flag at the precipice of Mount Everest. So a lot that's been, happening since then. But man, Owen, arguably one of the best theme songs, one of the best characters, one of the best workers, one of the best wrestlers, and one of the best people that we've had a chance to watch and enjoy. And that's how we'll end it. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Bray. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, WWE, WCW, WWF, Indies, ECW, and the list goes on. We appreciate everything that y'all do. We appreciate y'all watching. But it's 8:00. It's time to watch Saturday night's main event. Peace.